Hello and welcome to the Comedy Cabaret 101. Today we have Tim McDonald coming to share some insights with us. How long have you been doing comedy for?
I've been doing stand-up for almost a year and a half now.
What do you find the hardest part of being a comedian is?
I think the hardest part of stand-up comedy is not doing comedy.
Oh, okay.
Because you spend so much time thinking about it, and you spend so much time at shows waiting to go up, that's the hard part that weighs on you more. You're just thinking about these jokes, you're thinking about it, and then it's only 5 minutes a day, maybe 10 minutes if you're doing 2 sets, or 15, but I mean you just spend so much more time not doing comedy than you do doing comedy, that it becomes so difficult where you're thinking about those things and then finally you get to try them, right?
Are you constantly then thinking up new jokes?
I'm not constantly thinking of new jokes, but I keep either a notebook or have my phone on me at all times just to jot down a note of anything that I think is funny or could be funny, and I just kind of keep cycling back to those things, and we'll try them out sometimes if they're ready or not.
Oh, okay. And then how do you go about your jokes?
How do I go about my jokes? The way that I go about my jokes is simply that idea that I had and trying to write it out. So it might be something that's so rough when I think of it and I just throw it in my phone or in my notebook, and then later I'll just come to it and try to actualize it a bit more, and then I'll usually do it and then kind of rethink about it again from a different perspective or however it might come, and then just kind of talk it out from there, maybe be recording my sets, and then take that back and figure out what's working, edit it down, and just keep repeating that. It's just totally write, rewrite, perform, edit, repeat, constantly, yeah. I try never to really throw anything away, I'll kind of have it in my notebook still, and I'll probably go back to it, whether it be what I've seen in a year and a half is maybe 3 months later, 4 months later, I'll try it again, and maybe it'll get better, maybe it'll be just as bad as it always was. I really hate any joke that is super dependent on the wording, especially when I'm doing it at first. The wording can hold you back, because if you mess up one word specifically where it needs to be, I like to let the wording fall into place kind of over time, not get hung up on it specifically, but I will usually write it out in some form that I want it to be eventually, and that's even part of my rewriting, because then when it's in that form, I'll look at how I can take it down more or add a new joke in at some point later. Yeah.
Alright, that makes sense. Throughout those sets, how do you overcome a tough night out?
A tough night out?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, anytime I have a bad set, I just kind of remind myself that that's going to happen. I might give myself a minute or 5 minutes to feel bad about it, but not really even. That's it would probably, if you're doing open mics for mostly comedian, there is a high chance that you're going to bomb, or it's probably not going to go well. That kind of comes with the territory, and every other comic is going through that as well. So I deal with them as best as I can, and I try to learn from them as well. I'll really look at why jokes weren't working, how I can make them better, anything I can do, really. I think I feel evaluating that set will help you move past it further than anything, and help you get better.
Okay.
And then the bombs will go away.
What advice would you give to a comedian that is looking to get into this?
Well, one place that I didn't do a good job before I was starting, or when I was looking to start, was I took a really, really long time to get started. I had a notebook with me for over 2 years that I would just write notes, thinking this is what I'm gonna do when I do stand up, and I just kept writing those things down. I need to have I felt this need to have a really good 5 minutes. I was I'll be good, but when that didn't matter at all, right? I bombed so hard my first time, it did not matter at all. It doesn't matter what you are doing, it just matters that you're doing it. Doesn't matter what you are doing, it just matters that you're doing it. Especially probably the first 50 sets. I mean, I don't know, maybe the first 400 sets. I'm still in that, so who knows? But I think the most important thing is to just do it.
Then what's something that you now know or you've learned from your experience from a year and a half? Like what's something you know now that you didn't when you first started?
I think what I didn't know before starting that I know now is that pretty much every other stand-up feels the exact same way that I do about it. Like, the lows that I feel, even the best stand-up in Toronto is also feeling. Everyone feels the same. The awkwardness that I might feel around other comedians, just in social settings, they're probably feeling as well. So it makes it, I feel like it's just been demystified a little bit for the time that I'm doing it.
What still excites you about this career?
I'm getting better at it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's incredible when you... I get so excited about stand-up when I have a new joke or when a joke starts working and when I see myself getting better. Because all you're doing is constantly getting better and worse, but it just keeps going up and down, it ebbs and flows, and when you look back at something from 3 months ago, or even look at a set, watch a set from 3 months ago, you can see when you compare it to something now, how much better you've gotten.
Comedy Cabaret 1-on-1 with Tim McDonald. Thank you so much for doing this.